28 years later, the new movie from veteran director, should we call him a grandmaster, Danny Boyle, a Scottish director, has done a lot of movies and a number of famous ones. He directed the first movie in, is this a franchise? I don't think so. 28 Days Later. There was a sequel 28 Weeks Later, which he didn't make, and now we get 28 years later, and I just can't wait until the sequel 28 centuries later? Anyway, 28 years later really is kind of a standalone movie. You just need to know that there's been a zombie apocalypse, a virus has spread, most of humanity, or at least in the British Isles, has died, although Sweden seems to be okay in this movie. Maybe I missed something there, but they seem to be okay. Anyway, Great Britain is a mess, infected with zombies. In fact, they're primitive or savage sort of zombies are running around naked in this movie, dirty and naked. And they're sort of almost run by a alpha zombie, hard to kill, takes more than 12 arrows. There's a lot of bow and arrow fighting in this movie. But anyway, there are normal humans, and then there are zombies, and then never the two shall meet, except in movies like this. Now, I find this movie actually kind of tough to review for a number of reasons, which I'll try to articulate here. First of all, though, notice that the movie is 95% on the tomato meter in its opening weekend. Now, that number is really freaking high, but Rotten Tomatoes has inflated stats. Nevertheless, most critics seem to like it. And do I like it? I have no idea. Honestly, it's very artful, and it has some good stuff in it. Essentially, it's about a boy's initiation ritual into the world. Spike, he's about 13 years old, a nice, good-looking, cute Scottish kid. He and his sort of tribe are on Holy Island, a real island off the east coast of Scotland, I think, and there's a causeway that goes between the island and the mainland. They're protected by their barrier there, and they have a nice sort of retro village. No electricity, no running water, but everything seems to be at least decent. Spike is being taken out in the first act of the movie by his father to the mainland, where he's going to learn how to fight zombies, shoot a bow and arrow effectively through their heads, and see the wider world as it is, because Spike has never been off this island. The first act of the movie really is a feature in of itself. This is my favorite part of the movie, and it's fun to sort of watch Spike go through the world and figure out how terrible and nasty the zombie apocalypse actually is, and what it's turned things into ecologically. Scotland really has changed, but Britain, I guess. And the zombies are kind of weird and interesting, at least for the first few times you see them, because, well, they might actually be their own species doing their own sort of biological thing out in the environment. Spike and his dad are eventually pursued by an alpha zombie, giant guy. He's running around naked, and they might die. Anyway, the second and third acts of the movie are a lot slower. They involve Spike having trouble with his father for a variety of reasons, and Spike needs to take his sick mother to go see the famed Dr. Kelson, who is a sort of crazy old man, Obi-Wan Kenobi figure living on the mainland away from the Holy Island. No one's had contact with him for 13 years, but he's a doctor after all. Since Spike's mom is sick, he wants her to see a doctor. So after his adventure with his father, he goes in to the mainland, and, well, is probably too big for his britches out there. This Dr. Kelson, I must say this, is played by Ray Fiennes, who, I've seen this trailer 15 times, and false advertising the trailer because it looks like Ray Fiennes is starring in this movie. He's only in the last act, only in it for about 20 to 30 minutes. It's great when he shows up. He's trying to create a dynamic, charismatic character, as he always does, but still, characterization in this movie is actually pretty thin. Nevertheless, maybe it's driving something more mythological, some kind of hero's journey thing, as Spike, as a 13-year-old, goes out into the wider world and learns to be a man. During the second act of the movie, he's going to meet a Swedish officer, patrolman of some kind, who even says he's a Viking. He's kind of a prick. He's got blonde hair. He helps save Spike and his mother, but then different weird things happen to them all. Now, the movie is pretty artful, which was good, because I've seen a number of crappy movies or not too great movies. They're doing standard shot making, and this is Danny Boyle, fast-paced, quick cuts, sort of a punk music video kind of vibe with this movie, of course, and the hero's journey is kind of an Apocalypse Now journey into the heart of darkness, as it were. Now, you'll see that with Dr. Kelson, who's got a great haircut a la me, but anyway, he's a little bit of a Colonel Kurtz figure, but this is a spoiler. This movie's an inversion of Apocalypse Now, with Dr. Kelson being quite a nice guy. So with some artful shot making and sort of this hero's journey youth initiation tale going on in the movie, there's some very weird things going on. Now, I must point you to the prologue, which during the course of the movie I was wondering where in the world they were going to connect the plot of this movie. The prologue takes place in the 1890s and involves a boy escaping from the zombie apocalypse, which has just hit. He's given a cross by his father, who's an Anglican priest, and then he leaves on his own, and the cross is bobbing around, and there's a voiceover that says, "Have faith." So you're wondering when that's going to come back in the movie. I will spoil nothing except to say this movie has a bonkers ending. I'm not even sure what to do with it. It almost... I have about 15 different theories right now what's going on with the ending. It will leave you hanging. That's all I will say about it. But yes, the cross does return. Yes, the boy in the prologue does return. Just wait for it. And I'm not sure if the movie is undercutting this faith journey that the kid might be on and just making it sort of a basic biological tale. Life sucks, memento mori, death is everywhere, learn to die, learn to live while you're dying sort of thing. And it's maybe more true in the second and third acts as the boy takes care of his mother who's sick and then meets the doctor. And Dr. Kelson's memorial to the world is to have a giant pile of skulls, I don't know, 30 feet high in the air, which he's built. This is lifetime's work, I guess. So, memento mori, everybody. You're going to die. There's a reminder out there in the apocalyptic wasteland for you up in Scotland in this movie. If you're keeping score, I was appreciating Boyle's style. This is a hard movie to pull off. I really like the first act. I like some of Ralph Fiennes. I like the kid somewhat in this movie, and there's a few cool shots in it. And yet the second act really meanders. The third act, I don't know, kind of goes somewhere but kind of doesn't. And then the bonkers ending. And so what am I supposed to do with this movie? Do I like it? So I think I might have been miswatching this movie. I was thinking it was a hero's journey. A little riff on some faith-based stuff here. There's a lot of vacant churches and religious iconography going on in some parts of this movie. I wonder if I miswatched it. Now that I've seen the end, I need to go back and think about it. But certainly end sets up a sequel. I hope they don't do it because I'm not into this franchise necessarily. What's it going to be, like 28 years plus 28 days later? Yes, that's actually the epilogue of the movie is 28 days after 28 years later, so maybe there's going to be a sequel. Oh boy. I hope that was enough to tell you whether you should go watch the movie or not. What am I going to say? It's a decent science fiction movie in a summer of a lot of bland brand franchise sequel retro stuff. This is kind of that, and yet it is its own movie, so that's why I went to it. I thought it might be interesting with Boyle at the helm. Have you seen this movie? What did you think about it? Let us know in the comments. I'm tempted to say it probably won't last in our minds too long. There's not a lot of memorable things going on in it. It was a valiant effort, and I like Ralph Fiennes in anything, so this has some of that aspect. But if it's an Apocalypse Now story, it doesn't really work. I don't know what to do with it. I'm so confused by this movie and what to think about it. So maybe in a day or two, actually warm up to it somewhat. Although it's pretty gross, and that sort of stuff is not necessarily for me. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching all the videos, Substack, my book. Subscribe to this channel for more great content. Like the video. Thanks a lot. Have a great day.